Hello, Tashidalai. Welcome back to Dharma sharing of this week. I hope you are all keeping well and try to be happy. At the same time, it is always advisable when things goes wrong, when you encounter difficult situations that you have not expected. So every time when this kind of difficult situations do occur in one's life, it is always very good to go back and look at the spiritual journey, all those beautiful instructions about the growth of our spirituality. And this will always, give us another hope. It will always give us the wisdom to see things in different way. So likewise here, this is one of the reasons why we are trying to practice the Dharma in order to give rise to wisdom, the perfect wisdom that is able to discriminate the different types of phenomena, that is being able to actually see things in different with the different angle, with different perspectives, which will bring more kind of healing strength and more kind of intelligence in dealing with different situations, to tackle with different emotional situations, and that is relate with the physical appearances as well. So once again, we should take refuge in three jewels and try to generate bodhicitta for the benefit of all sentient beings and oneself. So before we listen to the Dharma or do meditations or any type of our meditation practice, either that can be idam dedi practice or simply just recitations of mantras, in any cases it is always good that we need to refresh our motivation. We need to change or examine our motivation. There may be sometimes when you are a little down, or maybe sometimes you are distracted by different things that happened in the past, or you are distracted by making different plans for future, so which means that you are not at present. So it is always good to examine your motivation and try to purify if you see any kind of distracted by different thoughts or distracted by different kinds of non-virtuous thought, or if it's like this kind of attitude that is dedicated to the self-center or the benefit of oneself only. So which these are also kind of distractions from the practice of bodhicitta. So here, since we are trying to understand bodhicitta from the Jewel Ornament of Liberation by GAMPOPA, so before we do so, it is advisable that we go take refuge in Buddha, Dharma and Sangha and renew our bodhicitta and the genuine wish to attain complete and perfect Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. So you should always remember that our objective of this bodhicitta is to attain enlightenment for the benefit of others. So once you have this kind of when you are conformed of this wish, when you are aware of what you're really doing or what you're really wishing for, then it is very kind of it's very supportive. It supports into your practice. It overcomes your laziness and it will support in your diligence in the practice of the Dharma. So here also we'll try to recite refuge prayers and generate bodhicitta, and then we start Dharma sharing. So please join your hands and recite the refuge prayers followed by generations of bodhicitta. Sangye jo dan zoge jo nam la jangjo bardo danen gyapson je dage je zoge be zo nam ge dola benje sangye do barisho sangye jo dan zoge jo nam la jangjo bardo danen gyapson je dage je zoge be zo nam ge Dola Beje Sange Dober Show, Sange Jodan Zoge Jonam La, Janjo Bondo Nane Gabsonje, Nage Zonge Bezonamge, Dola Beje Sange Dober Show, Semje Tamje, Dewa Dan de Vegodan, Debra Yoje, Donga Donga, Yodan Dewa Yoje. Dunga me ben dewan dam bon dam me dawan yo jeng ren ja dan yin dan de wen dan yo jen bo la ne bra yo je sam je dam jen dewan dan de wen yo dan de bra yo je dunga na dunga ye yo dan de wa yo je dunga me ben dewan dam bon dam me dawan yo ren ja dan yin dan de wen dan yo jen bo la ne bra yo je sam je dam jen dewan dan de wen yo dan de bra yo je dunga na dunga ye yo dan de wa yo je dunga me ben dewan dam bon dam me dawan yo je ren ja dan yin dan de Nanyong Jembola Nebaran George, Balin Zavella Marin Boje, Nagin Jura Bemenda Jola, Garden Jembo and Jesonde. Kuzon Toge Mondo and Zando. Okay. So we'll continue from where we stopped last week. We are trying to understand more about those different types of trainings in the bodhicitta. As you remember that there are different types of bodhicitta, different categories of bodhicitta or classifications of bodhicitta. The relative bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta in general, and more specifically in relative bodhicitta, there's this aspirations bodhicitta and engaged bodhicitta. In Engaged Bodhicitta, there's different translations. Sometimes different translator would prefer different translations. So sometimes it is translated as the Engaged Bodhicitta or Action Bodhicitta. So first of all, again, we should remember the importance of bodhicitta, the beneficial effects of bodhicitta that we already studied last weekend. And the importance of, if you remember or recall the beneficial effects and the importance of bodhicitta, then it will always encourage us to do more, to develop more, and to give more stability and more confirmations about our internal growth of this bodhicitta. When you see its kind of beneficial effects towards yourself and all other beings around you, then it will kind of determines you, or it will kind of encourage you to even practice more for the benefit of others, because there's the benefits, isn't it? And it will also bring your interest in it, and which will then overcome your laziness and different types of excuses that we have in our daily life with regard to practice of the Dharma, obviously. So you should always recall and refresh yourself every now and then with regard to the practice of the Dharma. You should always renew your bodhicitta, because it is advised by the different teachers of the past, different mahasittas, different bodhisattvas, that you can always renew your bodhicitta. So that we should keep this in mind. Obviously, as being an individual or ordinary individual, we are trying to establish bodhicitta as much as possible, even though it is not the ultimate bodhicitta yet. But then it is always something that is advisable, that we should not give up, should always focus and keep going. Well, you can sometimes you becomes a little down. Sometimes you are disturbed by different types of negative afflictions and emotions. Sometimes you are depressed with different situations in your life. Obviously, that's natural. That's the nature of suffering of samsara, isn't it? So, while you encounter all these different type of situations in your life, you should always think that there's the second hope, there's the second possibilities, there's the everything is doable. So, since everything is not permanent, everything changes according to time, conditions, circumstances. So you should always think this as a second chance in your life. You always think this is as a second opportunity. Everything is a second opportunity for life to develop, whether that is to develop with the external phenomena with regard to your own the tasks of this lifetime, or it is with regard to the internal growth of the Dharma practice. So you should always, should not lose your hope. You should always, concentrate. You should always put your effort, in order to do more, in order to keep going in this practice of the spiritual journey, isn't it? So here again, GAMPOPA is today going to mention about the trainings of the bodhicitta. Obviously, we know what is bodhicitta now, and then the pure wish that one would like to attain the perfect and complete Buddhahood for the benefit of other beings. That's there, the perfect wish, a genuine wish, an aspiration. But will these aspirations or genuine wish that is enough? With these only aspirations or wishing will lead us to that perfect and complete enlightenment? Will we be able to benefit all sentient beings with only having that kind of motivations or aspiration? That's not enough. That is why there's this second bodhicitta, which is known as the action bodhicitta. You need to do something. You need to act. You need to act. You need to apply those remedies. You need to follow the path that lead us to that perfect and complete enlightenment. You need to implement those cause and conditions. You need to implement those origins that is the real cause for that complete Buddhahood, attainment of complete Buddhahood. So here, today we are going to talk about the trainings in the action bodhicitta or engaged bodhicitta. So usually we know, maybe we have heard so many times about 6 paramita. So this 6 paramita is the practice, the training of the engaged or action bodhicitta. So today we are going to talk about 6 paramitas. Okay, and these are wonderful practice, wonderful teachings. If we are able to practice, implement these 6 paramitas in our life, that is what is going to change us. That is what is going to give us the result as the complete and perfect Buddhahood. This is the path that will lead us to that perfect and complete enlightenment. This is the path that will fulfill our genuine wish to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. So that's why this is very important. As a Buddhist, we believe in karma, right? We just don't believe in just faith and devotion. Obviously, faith and devotions are very good, supportive in our practice. We must have faith and devotion. And also aspiration, supplications are also very good. We need to have those. That is why there is mention of Aspiration Bodhicitta. If not, then why GAMPOPA should mention here Aspiration Bodhicitta, isn't it? Aspirations is needed, very good. But that will only aspirations will lead us to our goal? No. The answer is no. So we need to engage. We need to engage, or we need to apply. We need to act. That's why it's known as action bodhicitta or bodhicitta of action. So this action itself means karma. Action, karma are the same. So just wishing is not enough. Just having an aspiration is not enough. We need to act. We need to involve in order to reach our final destination. That is the complete and perfect Buddhahood. So what is karma then? Karma is like we create different types of energy in our daily life. We create energy through our mind, through words, and through our behaviors. And that creations of that energy, the energy that we created through our thoughts, from our mind, from our words, from our behavior, we give this energy towards others who are associated with you. Obviously, we also adapt those energies for ourselves too. And this energy that we have created through our mind, speech, and body, this is your karma. This is the action that you have created. And the second question is, what type of energy you have created? That matters. And here, according to the Dharma teachings encourage us to create positive energies. Positive energies through our mind, positive energy through our speech, and positive energy through our behaviors in our day-to-day life. Isn't this wonderful? If all of us could create positive energies through our body, speech, and mind in every day, it will be so beneficial. It will be so encouraging. It will bring so much peace and harmony among people, among others. But sadly, unfortunately, not all people could do this. Most of the time they create bad energy, non-virtuous energy through our body, speech, and mind, and they share this energy with others. They also sometimes, unfortunately, with ignorance, they adapt this energy, and this is the cause of our suffering, and this is the cause of disharmonies, war, quarrel, disputes, arguments that we are now seeing in this world. So we have to have this kind of wisdom to discriminate what is good and what is bad, what is useful and what is not useful, what is beneficial and what is not beneficial. So if you are able to do this, then I'm sure you will be able to free this world from suffering. You will be able to free this world from quarrels, disputes, arguments, and so on and so forth. So that is why we are in this process of peace, practice of Dharma, which is the cause for peace, nirvana, the Dharma practice, the path, through the path. And here, 6 paramitas, the trainings in 6 paramitas are the cause for the peace, for the perfections, for the enlightenment. So that is why it's very, very important that one must understand this true cause for our happiness. Obviously, our wish is to be happy, is to be free from suffering, not only for ourselves but also for others. So if you have that wish, then why don't you apply the cause? Why don't you apply this path that is the origin of your wish, happiness? Most of the time we wish for good, but we don't apply the origin of that. We don't apply the path that lead us to reach to that final destinations of happiness. And most of the time, unfortunately, our wish and our act are contradictory. We don't act the cause for happiness. We wish happiness, but we don't act the cause that leads us to happiness. We don't create positive energies through our body, speech, and mind. Instead, we create negative energies from our body, speech, and mind. The negative energy of ill will, hatred, aversion, jealousy, stinginess, unfortunately. But now, these instructions teaches us how to create positive energies, how to be generous, how to be loving, how to be how to have tolerance, how to have attitude of forgiveness, how to generate loving kindness and compassion, how to generate rejoicement. So this is the path that we should apply. So before apply, we should understand this first. We should listen to these teachings so that we will have some kind of understanding. we should contemplate on this meaning so that you are more stable of what you heard, that you are more conform with what you have heard from the Buddha. So that's the second thing that we need to contemplate. And finally, when you see whatever you heard from Buddha or hear from these instructions from GAMPOPA, you contemplate those teachings, instructions, and after that you develop some kind of confirmation. And then you say, okay, this is it. I have no doubt. This is the path that I need to apply. Then you really practice it. That's the third step. Hearing step, contemplating step, or examination or investigation stage, and then the practical stage or practice. So these three are very advisable. We should implement these 3 steps or stages when you practice the Dharma. So here we are going to do the first one, hearing these instructions. What are those trainings that is mentioned here by GAMPOPA in the subject of training in action bodhicitta? Okay, so 6 paramitas. These are the trainings of action bodhicitta. So I'm sure that these 6 paramita teachings are very familiar. Most of us have heard about it. Many beautiful teachers have visited your countries for the last 30-40 years and have always given teachings on 6 paramitas. But the question is, have you just listened those teachings and then left it there? Or have you gone a little beyond that, listening, but also contemplated those teachings and get confirmations within yourself of those teachings? Or have you gone beyond that? You have listened to the teachings and contemplated these meanings, and you gain confirmations with those teachings, and you have really implemented those teachings in your life. So which of these 3 you have done? If you have done all these 3, wonderful. It may have changed your life. It may have changed so many other lives that associate with you. I'm sure. Because it is the path. This is not something that is created by someone else. This is the actual really path. That is why it's known as the truth of the path. That is why it's known as the truth, the reality. So if you have just remained in the first stages, then you don't have experienced much benefits from it. You do not experience more benefit of it, beneficial effects of it. If you have just did first stage and second stage but not have implemented in practical way, then you may be regarded as a kind of well-known Dharma speaker, but not Dharma practitioner. Dharma speaker, yeah, you know how to speak, you know all the different definitions of 6 paramitas, different categories and categories of paramitas. If someone asks you about 6 paramitas, you're fluent in it, in definition, describing 6 paramitas, so on. But then if you have not implemented those practices in your life, then you have not witnessed its beneficial effects. It may not have changed your attitude. It may have not have bring any transformations in your life. You may be very well-spoken persons of generosity, but you are still very stinginess. You may have talked so much about moral ethics, but you have not implemented this, and you are still in involvement of non-virtuous act through your body, speech and mind. You may have spoken so fluently about patience, but you have not practiced patience, so you are angry all the time. Or when things go slightly wrong, you are depressed. You are angry right away. So see what I am trying to focus. It is the practical practice, the third stage, that is most important. because of not having enough time to implement the third stage, that is real practical experiencing, practical practice. That is why we are still stuck in this samsara. That is why we are still not able to free ourselves from stinginess, even though we talk about generosity. That is why we are still not free from harming others, even though you talk about moral ethics. That is why you are not still free from patience, not free from anger or aversion, even though how much you can speak about patience. That is why we are still not free from laziness, even though you know how to speak about diligence, perseverance. That is why we are still not free from distractions, different thoughts, emotions, that is disturbing our peace of mind, even though you are fluent speaker of meditation, concentration. That is why we are still not free from differentiating or discriminating phenomena, what is good and what is bad, what is the reality of phenomena, the nature of emptiness, the nature of suffering, the nature of impermanence, even though how much you can speak about wisdom awareness of impermanence nature, wisdom awareness of suffering nature, wisdom awareness of emptiness nature. If we have not implemented it, it's just a word. So that is why we are still stuck here. Okay, so we should aware of this situation, this reality, and we should act when there's enough time. We are still living, we are still breathing, so it's always not late to start anything, especially with regard to Dharma practice. It is always a good start. It is always an opportunity, because this is not one lifetime's matter. This is the matter of life after life. So therefore, it is always a good chance, it's always a good opportunity to start right away, any time of the day, any time of the night, any time. Just give rise to bodhicitta, contemplate on its wonderful beneficial effects, meanings, and then really implement those. Even though it's just a small thing, you implement it, you try to do it. If it is about generosity, practice generosity, trying to minimize your stinginess as much as possible, as little by little, every day. If it is with the moral ethics practice, try to watch your attitude, actions of body, speech and mind. Whenever you see there's a faulty, whenever you see there's an involvement of non-virtuous act through your body, speech and mind, always recognize it first, then try to minimize them one by one, little by little, every day. This is how we keep going. Likewise with patience, practice of diligence, practice of meditative concentration, and practice of generating wisdom awareness. We should not delay this. You should always keep starting, doing things, refreshing yourself. So if you're able to do this, I'm sure definitely you'll be able to witness its beautiful beneficial effects. That is why we are here, isn't it? Okay, so without saying much, now we try to study the trainings in the Action Bodhicitta by GAMPOPA. The 6 paramitas. First is the generosity. So what is generosity? Generosity means kind of giving whatever. It can be your belongings, it can be your knowledge, it can be your anything with you. When you have something good, it's a kind of attitude that you really want to share this with others. For example, if you know something new today, you're eagerly wanting to share this news with others, because this is beneficial information, for example. Not just giving yourself, not just closing door of your heart, but being flexible, openness towards all beings. So it's kind of attitude to share things with others. Warm heartedness, sometimes it's called open heartedness. So it's kind of to cultivate the attitude of generosity. That's generosity practice. The second paramita is moral ethic. So moral ethic, or we can also sometimes call it discipline. We should discipline ourselves. That's very important. There's a law and order in the country. Every country has a law and order. Every country, every kind of association, every organizations, every institute, they have their own law and order. They are disciplined. That's important because we are human. We need to be disciplined. We need to act according to rules and regulations. If we are able to do this, it will be more pleasant. Things will follow smoothly. Things will follow accordingly. Otherwise, if you have no rules and regulations, law and order, then everything's mixed up, and that's mess. Then you can't do much. You'll be hopeless then. So therefore, discipline is very, very important. So also, like we all have our own discipline, don't we? What time we wake up, what time we do our breakfast, what time we go for office, what time we have lunch, what time we have casual time with friends, what time we have dinner, what time we have planning of this shopping and all. So we discipline ourselves. That is why this clock is there. Clock, alarm in the morning, which tell us to wake up. We make our schedule according to time. That's why this clock that kind of help us to make our plan of the day. This is one way of disciplining things. And here, furthermore, is more like with discipline with your body, speech, and mind. So, good discipline of your body. Refraining from bad disciplines or refraining from harmful acts. That's what moral ethic is. You should be refraining from harmful act that is unpleasant for yourself and others. So that's called what the discipline is. So we'll go more detail in different points later, but just to have a brief idea about it. Okay. Then we have this patience, the third one. The third paramita is patience. And this is the hardest part of the practice. But once you have this, then you are safe from falling of all those difficult situations. Once you have how to forbear, how to bear things in a positive way, obviously. So this patience is a kind of ability not to be disturbed by anything else, not to be disturbed by others' appearances, not to be disturbed by others' words, not to be disturbed by others' thoughts in our own in our practice of the Dharma. So when you lose patience, obviously you also act accordingly. So counteract, revenge, all these things do occur because of not having patience. So you think that everything has to be kind of counteract, everything has to be revenge, taking revenge. And okay, if that is the final or perfect, complete, good solution, obviously yes, but that's not it. In fact, that will lead to another kind of disturbing emotions. That will be another cause for next kind of suffering. So therefore, practicing patience is always advisable from the teacher, from these teachings of the Buddha. And we'll learn more about practice of patience later on. Then we have this diligence. The fourth type of paramita is the diligence. Diligence is being, kind of regularity, or making effort. Whatever task you are doing, making effort every day, slowly every day, without losing it. When you lose diligence, then you could not fulfill your tasks. Especially, it is very necessary in the practice of the Dharma. Maybe you have experienced, many of you who have been doing, Ngondro practice. Many of you, because of lacking of diligence, maybe you took many years to complete Ngondro practice. Maybe some of you only finished first part, but then still other parts are remaining in your life. So this is because of not being diligence. Okay, regularity. So what diligence in dharmic term here is diligence is not only being physically involved. It is also more to do with mental. That is why it's known as the diligence is the joyful act. Joyfulness in virtuous act. That's diligence. That is like more like powerful than involving in physical activities. Physical involvement is good, but then if you do not have joyfulness in what you do, then physical involvement will not last long. The physical involvement will be tiredful. So once you are mentally joyful with virtuous act, with what you are doing, then physical involvement is natural. It will come automatically. For example, if you want to think, if you are very interested of seeing sunrise tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., for example. So you have that joyfulness in that, interest in that you really want to see sunrise tomorrow morning. Then with that kind of joyfulness in the act, you'll sleep early tonight, you prepare everything, and you'll wake up very early in the morning, sometimes without alarm. You just wake up because you have that kind of interest and joyfulness of that act. So you do not mind waking up 5 a.m. even before that, and that is because of your joyfulness in that act. Likewise, the great teachers of the past said we should have this kind of joyfulness in the practice of the Dharma. Then it makes things easier for us. Then you do not feel lazy. Then you do not feel unpleasant, tiring and unpleasant of what you do. You're always like a newcomer. You're always excited. So this should be this is the thing that we should be involved in, and that is known as the pure diligence. Okay, then we have this fifth paramita, that is meditative concentration, or sometimes it's called samadhi or concentration. So what is this? This is the ability to bring ourselves in a calm abiding stage of mind. This is the stage where we're able to see ourselves very clearly, where we're able to watch our mind very carefully and clearly. Usually what happens, we are distracted very fast with someone's slightness kind of act, slightness kind of speech. We are disturbed by this. Our peace of mind is driven away by someone's appearances, someone's word, because we are not able to remain in peace. We're not able to remain in calm abiding state of mind because we have no habit of it. We're distracted very quickly. Many thoughts comes into our heart, mind, and then we're always driven away by these different types of thoughts. We never lived at present. We are always, our body is here, but we are always somewhere else, maybe in the past or in the future, most of the time. And that is because of not having the ability of, concentration. That is why it is very important that we should have this habit of meditative concentration. Once you have this kind of meditative concentration, obviously you will be much calmer, you will make good judgments of the situation, you will find more better solutions for the problems when you are in a state of peaceful and calm state of mind, when you are not distracted by others' thoughts. When you are stable in this meditative concentration, then no matter how people shout at you, no matter how people appear in front of you in a wrathful form, or so to speak, you are unmovable. No one can distract you. All the words of the others, insulting words, or all the different appearances of other people's will be valueless, because you do not react, because you have the ability to remain calm and stable. While you are in the stage of calm and stable, you'll be able to have this wisdom. That's the next one, the sixth paramita. The wisdom arises within the peaceful state of mind. So when someone is insulting you and you are not overtaken or driven by his speech, you are able to remain in the peaceful state of mind with your concentration. Then the wisdom arises. What kind of wisdom arises? You'll be able to see, and you'll be able to realize that the words that I'm hearing now, the insulting words, are just a bare, empty words. Or you'll be able to see these words are just like dreams or rainbow. This is how you are able to develop wisdom. Then you don't react. When you do not react, then others' speech, others' appearances, which is harmful for you, doesn't harm you at all. They all become powerless. They will only have power when you react. Their words and their appearances will have value when you react. But when you do not react, then that's just empty words. No reaction at all from your side. That means they are valueless. So this is what will appear within that stage of calm abiding state of mind. So that's why the sixth is the paramita, is the wisdom paramita. The sixth paramita is the wisdom paramita, the perfect discriminating of phenomena. Okay, so these are the general idea of six paramitas. So we'll go according to the text here. Chapter 11, trainings in the action bodhicitta. So we have completed trainings in aspirations bodhicitta. Now today we are going to talk about trainings in action bodhicitta. The action bodhicitta has three types of trainings. So this six paramita can be categorized into three different trainings, the three baskets of trainings. Remember, you may have heard these things like ethic, concentration, and wisdom. These three: ethic, concentration, and wisdom. So six paramita are included within these three trainings: training of moral ethic, training of concentration, meditative concentration, and training of wisdom. So six paramitas are involved within these three trainings. That's why it says here, action bodhicitta has three types of trainings. The first one is the trainings in superior morality, moral ethics. Then the second one is training in the superior thought, that is wisdom. And then the training in the superior thought, that is the concentration, meditative concentration. And then the training in the superior wisdom awareness. So three baskets here: ethic, concentration, and wisdom. The line for the path to enlightenment says, if one maintains the vow of the action bodhicitta, that is the practice of 6 paramitas, and trains well in these 3 types of moral ethics, moral trainings, or 3 baskets of trainings, devotion for 3 moral training will increase. So you will increase your practice, you will increase your trainings. Generosity, moral ethics, and patience are the trainings in superior morality. So among the 6 paramitas, the first, second, and third paramita, these 3 are trainings in the superior morality. Generosity, moral ethics, and patience are included in the first training, the morality. Then we have this meditative concentration, and that is the training in superior thought. The 5th paramita is the training of superior thought. Then remaining, that is the 6th paramita, that is the wisdom or discriminating wisdom awareness, is the training in superior wisdom. So that concludes the 5 paramitas. First 3 included in the training of morality. Then concentration, obviously, is the inferior morality, thought, superior thought. And then the discriminating wisdom or knowledge is the trainings in superior wisdom. So what left? What is remaining? It is the diligence. And obviously, why diligence is not included in one of those 3 trainings is because diligence is needed in all these 3 trainings. Without diligence, you will never reach anywhere. So you will never reach your destination. So that's why perseverance or diligence is the support for all 3 trainings. Okay. The Ornament of Mahayana Sutra says, with respect to 3 trainings, the trainings of morality, the trainings of superior thought, and the trainings of superior wisdom, the victorious one expanded the 6 paramita well. The victorious one, the Buddha, has explained these 6 different paramitas. The first 3 belong to first training, as I mentioned earlier. The last 2 belongs to the last 2, and the remaining, the 1 belongs to all. That is the diligence. Therefore, the summary: generosity, moral ethics, patience, perseverance, meditative concentrations, and discriminating wisdom. These 6 comprise the trainings of action bodhicitta. So these are the 6 different trainings of action bodhicitta. Okay. So there's a verse from the Sadhu Requested Sutra says, Sabahu, in order for a bodhisattva or mahasattva to achieve enlightenment quickly, he or she must persistently concentrate on full perfections of 6 paramitas. Okay. So paramita. What is paramita? Paramita is the Sanskrit term for 6 perfections, or is always translated as perfections. So para and mita, you have to divide in these 2. Para means far, or that side of the shore or bank, and para can literally means beyond, and mita meaning that which is gone, or that which has reached that side. So we are now in this side of samsara, where we are under the delusion of ignorance. We don't have discriminating knowledge or wisdom yet. So therefore, we are still overpowered by our negative afflictions and emotions. So as a consequences of that, your karma of involving in the non-virtuous act, so as consequences of that, we are experiencing this different type of suffering. So we are in this side. So where we need to reach, that side, we need to go beyond samsara. So that's why para. And mita means the one who has reached there, or who has gone there, or who is going there in the process. So paramita means, so now literally paramita can be understood as that which has reached that part or that level, that which is rich, or which has gone beyond samsara, or in other words, that which has reached the ultimate attainment or nirvana. You can also call it like this way: the one who is free from suffering. That makes more sense. The one who is free from suffering, or the way how we can free ourselves from suffering. So these trainings are the way how we can free us from the suffering of samsara. Transcend. We can transcend us from our emotions. We can free ourselves from the different negative afflictions and emotions. So that's why it's called paramita. Okay, paramita. That which has gone beyond, that which has transcended. So what are those? What are these 6? They are perfections of generosity, perfections of moral ethics, perfections of patience, perfections of perseverance or diligence, perfections of meditative concentration, and the perfections of wisdom awareness. So these are the 6 paramitas. So if you want to remember this, then you have to read more of this, and then it will come to your mind. These 6 will be explained in concise way, and then each branch will in more detail. So the presentation here, first GAMPOPA want to generally talk about why the 6 paramita, what are the importance of the 6 paramita, why are they in order, why are there 6 not 7 or 8 or less than that, and what are those characteristics of these paramitas, what's the definitions of these paramitas in general way. And then later on he will present them in a very particular way, each one by one. Okay, so the first one, explanations of the concise meaning, the summary, definite number, definite order, characteristics, definition, division, and grouping. So these 6 comprise the 6 paramitas in general presentation. So the first one, definite number. The 6 paramitas are explained according to temporary higher status and definite goodness. So why are 6 paramitas are presented? Because of 2 reasons here, according to GAMPOPA. According to temporary higher status and definite goodness. So people would like to attain higher status. We always do, isn't it? And while we are at that attainment of experiencing that high status, we need something that supports us of keep going without reducing but increasing. So what are those here? He explains as with 3 of the temporary higher status and 3 of the definite goodness. What are those 3 higher status then? The 3 of the temporary higher status are generosity, which is for wealth. So we love wealth. That's why we pray Zambala. Obviously all people, because we are in this samsara, which is known as desire. So we have desire, we have craving of wealth, possessions and all. So that is why if you need wealth, we need to practice generosity, because generosity is the cause for attainment of wealth. So that's one higher status. And GAMPOPA is very skillful here. He said temporarily higher status. So these higher status are, even they are higher, even they are good, but they are temporarily. They do not last forever. They have their own expiry date. They are they are the nature of suffering. They are the nature of impermanence. They are not different from the nature of impermanence. So even though we need to benefit other beings, There are many beings, including ourselves, who love wealth, good life, good position. So therefore, we need to practice something that will give us that result, and that is here the sixth among the six paramita. The first paramita, generosity, is the cause for wealth. Likewise, the second one is the moral ethic, which is the for body. So if you want to have a good body, or if you want to have this precious human body, then the root cause for that is to practice moral ethics, refraining from harmful acts, and releasing, or benefiting others. So this is what is important is. So okay, good body with good with wealth, and then next one is and patience. And what is that for? Patience is for surrounding people. So good company. Good entourage, good retinue, whatever you want to call this. So okay, here you need to have a good life, good body, precious human body, with wealth, and good people that is surrounding you. So if you have these three, then you are, I think, having good life, isn't it? So for these three, what we need is, if you want to have a good body, practice moral ethic. If you want to have a good body with wealth, practice generosity. If you want to have good body with wealth with good company, because we are human, we are social animal, so we can't remain ourselves alone. It's very hard, isn't it? Even to stay a 1 week retreat, it is very hard for us, isn't it? So we are a social animal. We want to engage, we want to talk, we want to listen, cheer. So that's nature of human being. So therefore we need good company. So if you want to have these three, please practice first three paramitas. We should practice first three paramitas in order to have these three temporarily higher status. Then next three. The three of the definite goodness are perseverance or the diligence. Why? Because that is the cause for increasing virtues. Next, meditative concentration, which is for calm abiding state of mind, and then wisdom awareness, which is for spiritual insight. Okay, so you have good body with wealth and with good surrounding people. So that's the first stages, higher stages. And then okay, you have this, but then it is enough? No, because that wealth will slowly decrease, isn't it? That good body will slowly fade. That good company will slowly depart. So in order to keep them increasing, so to speak, so what is the necessity is the next parameter, which is the diligence, is the increasing of virtues. So if you practice generosity, what you need is not only excited at the beginning, then losing it, but you need to have joyfulness in the act of generosity. Then you are always continue giving, and that is like you are always depositing some money into your bank. Then you can always withdraw and enjoy to do shopping on whatever. So like here, you have practiced generosity, and that's why you are having wealth. You have practiced moral ethic, that's why you are having good body. You have practiced patience, that's why you have good friends or surrounding around you. But in order to keep them going and increasing, you need to have diligence. Otherwise, it will reduce. So that is why diligence is good enough, meaningful. And then we have this, okay, you have good body, wealth, good surrounding people, and increasing of virtues. But if you are not happy within your mind, if you are always worry, anxiety, then that external happiness doesn't really matters. Doesn't really bring happiness to us. So therefore, internal happiness, state of calm abiding state of mind, powerful, stable concentration, which will be able to overcome all the distractions and disturbing emotions. That is why concentration, meditative concentration, paramita, is important in order to bring ourselves in the stage of calm abiding state of mind, peaceful state of mind. Then the next one is, okay, you have good body, you have good wealth, good people around you, and you have peaceful internally also, not only the external happiness, but internally you are also very happy. Then, but if you are stupid, without intelligence, then not so useful, isn't it? So, in order to have intelligence, then you need to practice the 6 paramita, that is the wisdom awareness of knowing things as emptiness nature, as suffering nature, as impermanence nature. Then when you have this wisdom, then when you see your friends losing their life, or you're losing something, or you're departing from something else, then you can see this is as a nature of suffering, nature of change. Then you have no kind of disappointment or no suffering. And this is what is the beneficial effect of knowing, having wisdom awareness. So these are the 6 different types of paramitas. Okay, so we'll stop here for today, and tomorrow we'll be talking about the remaining presentations of these 6 paramitas in general, followed by particular in the next chapter. Okay, thank you very much for listening, and before we conclude, we shall dedicate these merits for the benefit of all sentient beings. So nam de yen tam je zig ba nyen tom ne nye be danam bam je ne genga na je ba lao do ba se ben zo len do wa